Night has fallen and you're weary from travel. Stars fill the sky above, and in front of you is a brightly lit wooden house, the only building you've seen for days.
Wow, that clicking noise is loud. Okay. Hello. Welcome to the stream this evening. We're gonna try a new game. So this is one of the free games on Epic Game Store. It's like where where the water tastes like wine. It's apparently based in the Great Depression of the U.S. Should be a really interesting experience. This game kind of popped out to me because I don't really see a lot of games like this that are, first of all, have this kind of hand-drawn style or kind of like old print style. And yeah, well, let's see what it is. Hold on though, 1 second. Alright, and I'm curious, can I play this game with a controller? It seems like the type of game you would be able to play with a controller. Let me look this up. Okay, I'm gonna maybe try restarting the game. Apparently it does have controller support. There's not a lot of info on the game.
Night has fallen and you're weary from travel. Stars fill the sky above, and in front of you is a brightly lit wooden house, the only building you've seen for days.
Alright, this is a Unity game. So it should have controller support as well. Yeah, and apparently it supports.
You walk
there we
toward
go.
the house, hearing the sounds of laughter and talk as you reach the door and push it open.
Is there just me, or is there like a really annoying clicking noise whenever you press these?
You sit down and join the game. It's a cheap buy-in, and not many of the other players are very good.
Dude, I have my volume turned down like halfway right now, and this is still so loud.
The lady fiddling with dice gets good cards, but has no real strategy. The man to your right seems to just hold on to the highest cards he has, regardless of suit or any consideration of matches. The man in gray across from you, though, he's good. He already had the largest pile of coins when you bought in, and while your winnings grow quickly, you can't quite catch him. One by one, the other players leave the table, sometimes with pique or with wry humor, leaving their winnings with you or the man in gray.
Alright. I'm guessing we're gonna get sacked or something. This guy is probably not a guy we want to mess with.
Finally, it's just you and the man in gray. He looks at you, full of humor, and winks. Last hand? He deals, you draw, and look at your hand. It's good. It's great. The best hand, in fact. A royal straight flush. Spades. Aces high. But the man in gray pushes forward his whole pile. You're not sure exactly how much it is, but it's more than you've got. You can't match that. The man in gray stops you. Now, if you like, I'll let you wager your word. I know you'll be good for it. Just promise you'll pay the debt, however I ask.
Check cards.
Yep. 10, jack, queen, king, ace. All spades.
We're gonna get scammed.
The man in gray smiles. All right, then. I'll call.
What? Okay.
Well, your luck wasn't so good, was it? That's quite the hand, but not for the game we're playing. I'm afraid you owe me. Your life, sure, but more than that. Your labor.
Oh, this game's gonna have a lot of abstract symbolism, isn't it?
You see, this land is built on stories. It's one big story, this country, woven of many small ones. Few of the small ones are strictly true, and the big story is mostly a lie. All the stories and songs and myths and legends start somewhere, with a seed. As they're told and retold and passed around, they grow and change to become the stories we know. To pay your debt to me, you'll be carrying stories, finding the seeds first and then spreading them, telling them onwards so they can begin gaining strength. This is no light task. Stories are heavy. Most of the stories you'll find will be small seeds. They might be true, but they'll grow wild and unbelievable with the telling. The more important stories are the true ones, the ones people will tell you about their own lives. Those often get lost in the weaves of the big story. The more true stories you can find and tell, the more you can weave that truth into the big story. Tarnish it a bit perhaps, but isn't a dingy and battered truth better than a shining lie? Now, go ahead. You tell me a story. I'll trade you some information about your task.
Three of Staves, Justice, Choice, Morality, the world, having desires fulfilled, wishes come true, Wheel of Fortune, death, change, endings, moving on. These are tarot cards, aren't they? Tell the story of the northbound train blinking its giant eye as it crawls through the night.
Travel? That's your job. Wander from place to place, gather those stories and spread them. People get bored hearing the same stories over and over. But an old cliché in one state might be a rip-roaring new yarn in another.
What do I do? Do I just keep doing these? Tell the story of the endless series of doors of different kinds, each leading only to more doors.
You'll sometimes have to make choices about what kind of story you're finding. Is it a love story or a tragedy?
What even is this game?
Don't gather too many of one kind, though. This grand story needs variety.
Did I miss a part of the game where it explains what's happening or something? Or tell the story of the parting of a cloud of fog to reveal a brief glimpse of land of promise and plenty?
Your deepest desires? Your greatest wish? Heaven? Big Rock Candy Mountain? El Dorado, the Promised Land? That place just over the ridge where they all say that the water tastes just like the sweetest wine. Well, I don't know where that is. It's supposed to be somewhere in this country. Ask the people you meet. They're all searching for the same thing.
Tell the story of tossing a pair of bone dice on a blood-red velvet table. They come up snake eyes and wink at you. I don't know what we're doing right now. It's
just luck. Funny how bad luck seems to follow. Well, try your luck out there in this country. See how the dice treat you. It's not all bad. You'll have to work hard, but I'll give you the gift for seeing the true shapes of people. Not many who can do that.
Tell the story of a black and gray city where every building is filled with desiccated corpses. Okay.
I'll strip away your flesh.
What is desiccated? Is it like desecrated or...
Hunger, weariness, thirst, and despair. They're all part of stories. The part not often told. And death, yes. But don't worry. As long as your task remains, you come back. Go on your way, Seeker. Maybe we'll meet again, or maybe not. Either way, it'll be an experience. I'm jealous in some. I hope you find what you're...
Okay. Whoa, we're finally in an actual game. Okay. And it doesn't let me choose. Alright, let's I can't. This menu doesn't work with controllers. I can't change anything. Oh no, I'm stuck. Alright, so is this the type of game, I guess, that just drops you in without explaining anything? Hey Andre, this is one of the free games on Epic Games Store. It's kind of janky though. It really has issues. It's about the Great Depression in the US. So we're in Maine. Oh nice, we're starting right on the border of Canada. Journey log. Apparently we're supposed to gather stories from people. What even is this game?
This bungalow is being ransacked. There's furniture piled in the front yard, ammunition heaped under the mailbox, and a crowd of clean-cut men ripping apart a car in the driveway. The two heavily armed, mud-caked women leaning over the porch railing share the same bored grin. One shouts at you. "Lend a couple innocent gals a cigarette?" One of the women wrinkles her nose in disappointment. The other raises a rifle, levels it at you, and shouts, "Bang!"
The woman arrested for bootlegging. Wait, what? We just got a story all of a sudden now? Oh, okay. The woman arrested for bootlegging. Can we do anything with this? Oh, there's Canada. Hi, Canada. This game's pretty damn buggy. I don't know if you see my character bugging out every, Goal is to fulfill your obligation to the wolf by finding all 16 characters scattered over the US. Trade stories with them until you can earn their trust and finish the story.
Off the road and into the woods, you can't help but come across this package by the old tree tied to a sturdy stick. The cloth wrapping conceals, though not particularly well, something large and softly unsettled. Little eyes blink back at you from inside the bundle. The shape gives a start.
"Please don't tell my pa that I'm in here. Pa doesn't want to live with us anymore. But I want to go with him. Don't tell him, please.
His father must have been here at some point, but you sure can't see him now.
Please go. He's coming back any minute,"
says the boy, growing up.
It really bugs the hell out of me that they have all this awesome voice acting in it and they couldn't afford a kid voice actor. Like, they just had an older guy going with a high-pitched voice. "Please don't tell my pa." That's the kind of voice they just had there. Yeah, I'm walking on top of a map. Oh, look, we're going to Portland.
They don't come every year, you know. The old man is sitting at the edge of a rotting old pier, crooked legs dangling over the water. He watches a pair of seagulls preen and groom each other on a rock just off the shore. They seem to wait for something together, fidgeting and rubbing against one another. And when they fly off, they fly together. These two, these same two, have been coming here ever since I was a boy, the old man says. He watches them fly away until their bodies are dots vanishing into the low sun. Always the same pair. Wonder what keeps them coming back to this town. He shrugs. It must be home.
I feel like this is one of those games where the art is pretty good. Like, the music's definitely good. The art is definitely, like, really unique, hand-drawn, or some kind of printed style.
Storm clouds on the horizon.
But I don't think the gameplay of this game is going to turn out to be that good.
This rocky seaside road in the rain. Fortunately, you find the lighthouse door open, with a daunting staircase before you. At the top of an ornate wrought iron spiral, you're breathless and feeling the strain on your knees. Rain already batters the walls outside. You can only knock on a heavy wooden door leading into the upper level. Muffled voices and light seep in beneath the door. Looks like we got a visitor. Sounds like a man's voice, deep and rough. Well, behave yourself. I'll open the door. Another man, this one with a higher, more sonorous voice. I always behave myself. He feigns indignation, but his tone betrays affection instead. After a moment, the door unlatches from the inside and opens. The man before you is tall and muscular, with a hint of a paunch beneath his wide chest. The heavy iron knob on the door looks nearly dainty in his huge hand. Despite the rough exterior, this room looks like a well-appointed...
Dude, these voice lines take so
a
long.
well-trod wooden floor and an enormously plush couch. And sat upon it is a stocky fellow grinning through a great hazel-colored beard. Tea? He offers, hoisting a teapot. A few years. The tall one sits on the sofa, wrapping his arm casually around the other lighthouse keeper. 5, says the smaller, but by no means small, man.
There's like a lot of pausing between this voice actor saying the lines.
You must have some good stories from the road, huh? You wake up the next morning on their old sofa, still warm from an excess of tea. And cakes? There might have been little cakes. Prodigious snoring rumbles in from the floor above you, and you quietly take your leave.
So it's weird, this game is literally just tiny little stories. Which is kind of an interesting, like, perspective.
A woman walks the small town square with the poise of Betty Davis. A confident stride and inimitable mannerisms elevating the sidewalk into a plush Hollywood carpet. Wrapped around her neck, a yellow velvet ribbon, bright as an ocean sunrise. You question a well-dressed man parked outside an oyster house. Prudish woman. I took her on a fine date and she didn't remove so much as a ribbon. Excuse me, can you step back from the coupe? That's the spirit. You talk with a waitress smoking outside a diner. Something funny about her. Just showed up one day. Doesn't work, doesn't live anywhere as far as I know. Just around. Myself, I'd love to know who made all her beautiful clothes. The longshoreman watches stevedores load up a crane. Yellow ribbon? That woman's dead. Ghost dead. Buddies of mine, they've seen her all over the Atlantic for decades now.
Wait, what? So it doesn't even give me an opportunity to go and see her? This game doesn't make any sense. Hitchhike? Who needs to hitchhike when it only takes like 2 minutes to walk from Portland to Boston? Red brick, green trees, blue sky. In this weather, Boston is beautiful. That is until you make your way deeper into the city and get lost among the cramped, winding, shadow-haunted old streets.
This city is like no other you've been to. Crooked streets splay out in a maze of narrow passages, no two alike. Soon, you find yourself in twilight, utterly lost. Bright light crests around one corner, a car approaching. Compelled by the cold and foreboding night, you don't question it as you drag your bones into the cab. Where to? He asks. You have to stop and think. Eventually, you name Boston Common, the only landmark you know in this town. He peels off silently. You feel the car move before you hear the engine. He takes you through ever odder streets, flanked by painfully clean, gleaming buildings and signage for businesses you don't recognize. Even the air seems different. It doesn't smell so sharply of gasoline and coal. Eventually, you come to a stop. The fare's in glowing numbers above his dashboard. It's much too high. Surely a mistake. No charge, he insists. You look like you need a break. And then you
Earn money?
dusty truck and a man on horseback pull up next to one another in front of the grocer. Suddenly, the driver and the rider, two wiry old men with identical haircuts, start shrieking at one another. The man with the truck leaps into the street.
Brother!
He shouts. The one on the horse tumbles out of his saddle.
Brother!
He screams. They embrace in the road.
30 years!
Everyone here is watching these two older men cry and hug one another in the middle of Main Street. Cars and wagons are backing up. People are yelling.
Take a photo of us!
The long-lost brothers pose in front of traffic, cry snot pouring out of their noses. As angry passerby wave you out of the road, each brother presses a coin into your hand. When the traffic disperses, you realize they overpaid you quite a shocking amount.
How nice of them.
Clouds roll together to fill the sky. You shelter beneath a rocky overhang. Above, the clouds turn gray, and the lightning is so strong that it seems to open a path in the haze above you. You are sure you see massive talons curved around the clouds. The thunder is so immense that the ground trembles. Your lips and hands tingle from the electric charge that fills the air until the dancing lightning passes on over the hills.
We got a bunch of stories now. The odd silent taxicab in Boston. Woman arrested for bootlegging the boy who ran away with his father in Maine. These are really weird. This game is pretty janky. I actually think all we're doing is collecting these weird tarot cards. And the only stories are just these tiny 2-line things. I might switch over to trying Shadowrun Legends.
Well, I'm gonna scroll my name on the bare bones of the earth. I'm gonna dig my heels into the ground. 'Cause when that ferryman come for to tally up my worth, I won't leave much behind to drag it down.
Oh my god, the whistling mechanic in this is actually so fun. It's like Guitar Hero. I finally found a gameplay mechanic I like.
Well, I'm gonna heft my spade up upon my wearied back. I'm gonna keep that stride
The air stinks of gasoline and trash, and you're boxed in by brick, but damn, there's something invigorating about that stink. God, you feel like there's an engine in your chest.
The engines belch black smoke as the ferry churns gray water into froth. A broad-shouldered figure leans out over the rail, eyeing the skyscrapers on the horizon. Nearby, a man and a woman speak in low, urgent voices.
I wish you didn't have to go.
She says,
There's gotta be work on some of those buildings going up.
his thumb skates over her pulse point.
I checked every day for a week. There ain't. I'll be back, though. Got your picture in my wallet, don't I? It's not forever.
Her words are split by a sob.
Might as well be. My parents didn't come to New York for this.
She leans against him, the wind tousling her hair. He pulls her to his chest.
I'm leaving because I gotta go. If there was another way...
They stand together, close, quiet, in the stiff breeze.
This isn't really much of a game, at least to me. It's kind of weird. Yeah, I think I'm gonna try Shadowrun.
I won't leave much behind to drag you down. Well, I'm gonna heft my spade up upon my weary back. I'm gonna keep that stride stuck in my soul. 'Cause when my coals burn.
Alright, well, that was an interesting experience, but it's definitely not my kind of game. Super slow as well. Like, I'm not even going to begin to talk about the gameplay issues with that. I think the art is pretty good, and honestly, the stories weren't horrible. But yeah, that did not do the trick. So now I'm gonna try Shadowrun Returns, which is a turn-based point-and-click, I think, strategy game. And I mean, this is a huge series, so I'm probably gonna try all of the games, I think. We will see. So, okay, hold on a second. The stream's going to go down for like 30 seconds and it'll be back up. I'm just going to switch to the Shadowrun Returns category.